monster slam against a monster opponent against Memphis. Temple men's basketball is in stride and now at the top of the AAC thanks to an upset at home.
3 straight and counting. We'll take a look at this win streak coming up.
I'm Xavier Adams. You don't beat a nationally ranked team without some outstanding performances. I'll take a look at who rose to the occasion in that wild win.
And I am Brielle Batchelor reporting live from Aaliyah Core Center. The women's team is just as hot as the men's. Later in the show, I will discuss how the overmatched and the winless Charlotte 49ers over the weekend. Courts in Session is live and it starts right now.
Temple had a week of success since we were last on the desk. I'm Gabriel Linington and he's Pat Dallahan. Welcome back to Courts in Session.
3 wins between the two teams, but the biggest came last Thursday when nationally ranked Memphis came to town. Temple's marketing department picked a good game for the whiteout.
Yes, the Owls grabbed the best home crowd they've seen all season long. And when it was all said and done, many of those fans were on the court celebrating the biggest win of the season. Now here's some good-looking fans back on Thursday in the Liacouras Center, and they got the whiteout memo. The Tigers and the Owls went back and forth for the first 10 minutes, but Temple were soon able to force a 7-0 run to force a Memphis timeout. This lead continues, and the rebounding presence is the answer in this game. And now here comes Shane Dezzoni in the corner for his first of a pair of threes to push the advantage 32-23. But you got to remember why Memphis is ranked. A monster oop and finish allows the Tigers to close the gap, and it's a 36-30 game for Temple heading into the locker room. Coming into the second half, and Memphis is continuing the trend. Here comes PJ Haggerty with the hoop and the harm. He had 21 to lead the way for the Tigers. Memphis comes to within 1 possession, but who else but Jamal Mashburn Jr. draining a clutch 3 to put the Owls up by 5. And now here's his running mate, Quante Berry, with his career high of 19. Memphis puts on some pressure, but Temple stays persistent and poised, breaks the press, and Zion Stanford gets the easy 2. Let the floodgates open, the Owls pick up their biggest win in 2 years, 88-81 over the Tigers. Mashburn Jr. led the way against Temple's ranked foe with 21. Pair that with Berry pouring in his career high with 19 on efficient shooting, he fits in well with Mashburn as Temple's 1-2 punch. But it was rebounding that took the cherry and white to the finish line. This is an area Temple has struggled with for a good part of the season. But the Owls outboarded the Tigers 49-25. Dezzoni kept the glass clean with 13 boards, not bad for a guy who stands at just 6'4". PJ Haggerty, who's the second leading scorer in the AAC, was held to just 2 in the first, but he was able to finish with 21. Temple had 5 in double-digit scoring in the win, but again, it was the rebounding that Coach Adam Fisher wanted to talk about most.
You got to be gritty, tough, and we need all guys to rebound. We're not going to be a big man who's going to get 15 to 18 rebounds. We're telling him sometimes, hey, box out, our guards come in. So we need everybody to rebound. But I thought our grittiness, our toughness was awesome tonight. This was an unbelievable environment tonight. And like, I think we have, I said this to our team, really smart fans, right? Like, you know when to get loud and then when not to, and then when to get excited. But their energy was awesome. I hope that, again, they keep coming back. We want to protect home court, and that's been a big thing for us this year.
The win over Memphis was special for the men's program for a plethora of reasons. Courts in Session Beats reporter Xavier Adams is here in studio with the more on the Owls' signature win in 2025. Hey, Xavier.
Hey, Pat. The whiteout game gave fans everything they could have asked for in a top 25 matchup. Explosive offense, intense defense, and a fairy tale ending for the Owls with key players playing a key role.
It was one of those statement wins. A home conference win
over a nationally ranked team, and a celebration of a whiteout night that spilled onto the court. It all came in Temple's win over 18th ranked Memphis.
Just so happy for these guys to enjoy this moment. I thought our fans were awesome. It's the loudest I've heard this building since I've been here. So thank you to our students, our alumni. Thanks for wearing white. Thanks for screaming. It was just an awesome environment. So again.
The Owls played a very physical game on Thursday. They secured an enormous rebound advantage over the Tigers, 49-25. And they also saw fiery offensive performances from Jamal Mashburn Jr., Shane Dezzoni, and Quante Berry. This win over Memphis means a lot more for Temple than just putting your name on the map by beating an 18th seed. It also means that the Owls now move to 7-0 at home, their best start to in-home play since the 2019 season. Temple didn't win a single game last season against a nationally ranked team. 1 year later, the Owls are hoping this Memphis win puts them in the conversation for teams to look out for in the AAC, as January turns to February and February turns to March. As mentioned, there were plenty of standout players from Thursday's game, but as mentioned, the big three for Temple were Jamal Mashburn Jr., Shane Dezzoni, and Quante Berry. Mashburn really struggled from the field, hitting just 4 of 16 shots, but good players find a way. Mashburn ended the day with 21 points, 11 of those coming from the line. Quante Berry brought some great offense as well with 19 points, providing some big-time defense. And finally, Shane Dezzoni scored 15, but his biggest contribution was on the glass with 13 boards. As mentioned, this is Temple's first win against a nationally ranked team in 2 years. That means it's Adam Fisher's first win against a nationally ranked team since he came to Temple last season. Reporting from the Leah Course Center, I'm Xavier Adams, Courts in Session.
A few days later, on Sunday to be exact, the Tide rolled into Philadelphia as the Tulane Green Wave looked to end Temple's perfect home record. More than just an 8-0 start was on the line for Temple, as both teams come into this game with just one conference loss. Adam Fisher and company looking to avoid the letdown game after the Memphis win. First possession, first bucket for the Tulane Green Wave. Cam Williams gets the scoring party started with this top-of-the-key triple, the first of his 15 points. Jamal Mashburn Jr. once again led the way for the Owls in the scoring department. The New Mexico transfer finishes with a season-high 32 points as he rises up for this tough mid-range J. End of the first half, under a minute to play, Tulane trails by 3. Mari Jordan and Greg Glenn playing the two-man game. Jordan drives and finishes at the rim over Zion Stanford to cut the Owls' lead to 1 after the first frame. We roll on to the second half. Temple up 2. Steve Settle drives to the hole through tons of contact and scores over the top of Caleb Banks. Temple's lead up to 4. End of the second half, it's Mashburn again. He cannot be denied and will not be denied as he bumps his way to the cup for another score and the and one opportunity. Just like Jamal Mashburn, the Owls are not denied. Temple wins 80-77 and moves 8-0 at home. Georgetown transfer Rowan Brumbaugh finished the game with a high 20 points and a game-high 7 assists for the visitors. Shane Dezzoni finished with 14 points, good for his 7th consecutive performance in double figures. Steve Settle and Zion Stanford both chipped in with 11 points and 4 boards each. The main story was Jamal Mashburn Jr. Mashburn exploded for his season-high 32 points on a hyper-efficient 12 of 16. His 32 points is the most of any Owl this season.
It's always great. I mean, that's what you play college basketball for. Those big games, those big wins in front of your home crowd. So it was great. I'm glad that they showed out, and I'm just really excited for the win. So it was great.
It's a shame the Owls can't play every game at home. They're 8-0 at the Leah Course Center and just 4-6 away from home. Still, overall, they are one of the hottest teams in the league.
Yeah, on Thursday, it was a huge program win for Temple. Adam Fisher's first ranked win and their first ranked win in 2 years. Their last ranked opportunity was against FAU last year. A really important milestone win for Adam Fisher and this Temple program this season, who struggled in the non-conference but have eased in nicely to American Conference play.
Yeah, what a ridiculous win compared to last season's regular season was kind of lackluster, but this whiteout game just brought that energy for all the players. Obviously, this season is spectacular compared to last. Obviously, last season they had a Cinderella run in the playoffs, but they're really taking that energy into the regular season this time. 2,000 wins, 8-0 home start, and a ranked win over Memphis. They're gearing up for March.
Yeah, you talked about that run they went on last year where they were one game away from March Madness. Right now, the field of 68 has Temple as a 12 seed in the NCAA tournament. They would match up with 5 seed Wisconsin. It would be their first tournament appearance since 2019 when they took on Belmont in Dayton at the first 4 and unfortunately fell. But they have a big opportunity ahead of them this Wednesday against North Texas. North Texas, one of the best teams in the American Conference, arguably the best team, is top 30 in the country. The opportunity for the Owls to pick up potentially a quad 1 win and move their way up the national ranks in both KenPom and the National Evaluation Tool. But we're not done with the men's team. Later in the show, we'll look at the updated standings.
But up next is all things women's basketball, as the team has continued its hot streak that has put them within arm's reach of first place in the AAC.
Yes, guys, the women's team is winning consistently in 2025. I'm Brielle Batchelor, live at the Liacouras Center. Stick around. After the break, I will discuss how the Owls were able to grab their victory against the Charlotte 49ers. And this includes Jaleesa Molina, who was close to perfect. Courts in Session is coming right back.
Let's go back to Saturday on North Broad at the Liacouras Center, Charlotte in town. Temple controlling this game from the get-go, defense to offense, as the Cherry and White get the easy lay. The Owls had 7 steals in the first quarter alone. However, despite their lackluster record, the 49ers aren't going down easy. Charlotte makes one of 2 consecutive buckets to cut the lead down to just 4 in the first. But the Owls storm ahead and the lead is back up to 13. Here comes Jaleesa Molina crashing in to get the putback to start the third. One of her 11 rebounds, the second time this season she's had back-to-back double-doubles. Charlotte gets the stop and tries to get started in transition with a sweet finish, but struggle to get back into the game. Temple is just hooping at this point, and there's not much the visitors can do. Back-to-back buckets and the consistency of the Cherry and White get the better of the 49ers. Here comes Anissa Rivera with the nice hook, as Temple takes this one 80-62. Temple was able to breeze past the 49ers in this one, almost winning every single quarter. The Cherry and White started grabbing a 17-point lead in the first half. The Owls forced 12 turnovers against Charlotte in just the first half alone. This came from a monster defensive first quarter, 7 steals and 16 points off of turnovers, and Temple had all the momentum. Gary was the scoring focal point with 18, making it 4 out of 5 games that she has hit double figures in scoring. Madison Rochelle had 17, but she was the only 49er to get into double digits. Temple scored 70 plus for the 3rd straight game, all being wins.
Yeah, our goal was to put pressure on them and hopefully turn them over. I mean, they're a good team that really, causes pace as well. So we knew we needed to slow that down and probably discourage them by turning them over. And our defense stepped it up a little bit. We put some pressure on them. Our switchers were great, and we turned them over.
Yeah, we work on this all the time. It's not new to us. We know we have to go in with a specific game plan, and the whole week throughout practice we would do one-mores and just different drills that would help us share the ball better.
When a team is as hot as Temple women's basketball, it can be hard to stay focused. Courts in Session beat reporter Brielle Batchelor was at the game on Saturday and now joins us live at the Liacouras Center to take a look. Hey, Brielle.
Thanks, Pat. Head coach Diane Richardson came into this game focusing on not letting her team get complacent against a winless Charlotte squad. And her team responded. Richardson's guidance and Molina's hot hand were major factors in leading the Owls to another AAC victory.
The Temple women showed very little rust this past Saturday. After a week-long break, the Owls had no problem pushing aside the Charlotte 49ers with an 18-point win.
Yeah, our goal was to put pressure on them and hopefully turn them over. I mean, they're a good team that really, causes pace as well. So we knew we needed to slow that down and probably discourage them by turning them over.
Head coach Diane Richardson focused on having a strong defense and forcing turnovers. The Owls picked up 17 Charlotte miscues in the win.
And this was a game we could not be complacent in because Coach Reed and her team, they are battling, and they're battling hard in this conference. So we knew that we couldn't let them get back in the game.
After their win today against the Charlotte 49ers, the Temple women's basketball team is now 5-1 in conference play, and they continue to advance in the standings.
The Owls put 3 players in double figures, and that included a near-perfect game from Jaleesa Molina. She was 5 for 5 in the field and 5 for 7 from the line. Add her 11 rebounds, and it was clear who was the player of the game.
My confidence is back, so I'm here. My team has helped me with that, my coaches, so yeah.
For the Owls to continue their winning ways, it must come on the road. Temple plays 3 of its next 4 games away from home, a stretch that will take them into February.
The Owls are now 3rd in the American Conference and have an overall record of 11-6 this season. They are currently on a 3-game winning streak and will play against ECU on Wednesday. Temple beat the Pirates at home on New Year's Day. This time, they'll match up in North Carolina. ECU is 2-4 in the conference and play this season. Reporting live from the Leah Core Center, I'm Brielle Batchelor. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Brielle. With the win, the women's team is 5-1 in the AAC and scoot into the top 3 in the conference, trailing UTSA and North Texas.
After a dominant win over the 49ers on Saturday, Richardson's crew is proving to once again be a contender.
So let's talk about Charlotte. Charlotte, they may not be the best opponent. They may not have the best record, but that's what's really important about these great teams. They have to stay great. They have to be a great team against bad teams, stay aggressive, and you can't play down to their opponents, and that's exactly what Temple did. They stayed aggressive. Such great defensive pressure onto this Charlotte team. They forced so many turnovers, and now they're on a 3-game winning streak, 5-1 in conference, and they're 3rd in the standings, and it doesn't seem like they're slowing down.
Yeah, you talked about it. You cannot afford to be bad against anyone in this league. But Jaleesa Molina, just to shout her out, has been exceptional. You mentioned her double-doubles. She's been a revelation for this Owls team, for Diane Richardson's squad. Her development has been huge and coming off the bench and providing depth. Well, but we're already up on our second break of the show. When we come back, Gabriel and I will break down our top 5 plays of the week.
Courts in Session is coming back in just 90 seconds. Welcome back. Both sets of Owls have had their fair share of highlights this past week, beating a ranked opponent on one side and flying by conference opponents on the other.
Let's take a look at the top 5 plays of the week at the corner of North Broad and Montgomery. First off, the Memphis game, number 5. A Memphis turnover turns defense to offense for the Owls. Great ball movement, an awesome cut here by Quante Berry for the and-1 finish. Now, pushing it in transition and passing it in transition takes Memphis out of position to guard. You see here an ill-timed double team from P.J. Haggerty opens up a lane for Quante Berry, which puts Nick Jourdain in an awkward position to guard. He was indecisive. It leads to a foul and an and-1.
Now time for number 4. We've got a disgusting move by the sophomore guard Tristan Taylor with the floater and 1. This was just nasty. You can't get her into rhythm. She takes it at the top of the key. Nice little move out of the triple threat. Gets the defender on the hip, and it's just barbecue chicken from there.
barbecue chicken. We'll move back to the men's side. Play number 3, Shane Dezzoni, the gadget man, doing it all himself with the block, the rebound, and the slam, an easy slam. Here's why it happened. So he makes the block and he gets the rebound. Now, in transition defense, Tulane has to communicate. Mari Jordan and Rowan Brumbaugh, someone needs to get the ball and get to the hoop. You have to talk. And it leads to the easy deuce for Shane Dezzoni.
Okay, now we're going to move back on the women's side for number 2, Jaleesa Molina. We've been talking about her the whole entire show. She passes it into the low post. You think it's going to be an easy lay. She misses it, an easy put back. Great positioning there. We're going to have a little rewatch of that. She gets a great pass, but it's all about the vision here, scanning, finding that space, and then moving into it for an easy putback.
And finally, this next bucket made it to number 2 on SportsCenter's top 10, but it's our number 1. Shane Dezzoni again rising high for another highlight reel slam, this time with 2 defenders. Tyrese Hunter going for the chase down. Musa Cisse gets one put on his head. And the Owls get their big ranked win over Memphis. It's been such a strong week, and we wanted to highlight some crazy stat lines in addition to those strong top 5 plays. On the men's side, it doesn't get much better than Jamal Mashburn Jr. Mash poured in his season-high 32 points on Sunday against Tulane while also adding 4 rebounds. The best part, he did it all with just 16 shots from the field. That's efficient. On the women's side, it's Jaleesa Molina, who flirted with perfection. Molina was all over the stat sheet in the win against Charlotte on Saturday, finishing with a 15-11 perfect performance, 5 of 5 shooting from the floor.
Now, sadly, we're coming up to our last break of the show, but don't go anywhere.
When we come back, we'll take a look at this past week in the AAC, then see where Temple lies in the league standings. Back in 90 seconds. Welcome back to Courts in Session. This week has been a good one for Temple. When you take a look at the overall AAC standings.
The men's side is very bunched at the top 4. Teams are tied at 4-1. Memphis, North Texas, Temple, and UAB in alphabetical order, since we are here at an institution of higher learning. We've been focusing on the Owls from North Broad, but let's take more of a macro look at the AAC. The UAB Blazers were able to get the win over the Bulls down in South Florida last Wednesday, 92-83, in a game where defense was optional. This puts them in the top 4 in the AAC. The Mean Green also stay in the top 4 with a conference record of 4-1, taking 1 win last week before that loss to Temple. North Texas was able to win on the road with a blowout 72-57 W against UTSA. North Texas is Temple's next matchup on Wednesday. Tulane is just behind at number 5. Just before the loss to Temple over the weekend, the Green Wave was able to get the better of Florida Atlantic last Wednesday, 80-65. And to end our recap over the weekend, Memphis bounced back and beat Charlotte on Sunday, 77-68.
There's a logjam at the top of the American Conference. 4 teams stand with a 4-1 record. On Tuesday night, UAB takes on UTSA with the opportunity to stand alone in first at 5-1. Temple and North Texas collide on Wednesday, as mentioned, in a battle for the right to potentially join UAB at the top. Memphis will clash with Wichita State on Thursday night. Right on the tail of the top 4 is Tulane, who stands with a 3-2 record. The Green Wave's next opportunity to move up in the standings comes on Saturday at Rice. Sadly, that's all we have for you today, but plenty of hoops to come on North Broad.
That means you'll be seeing a lot more of us. From everyone in TV Studio 3, I'm Gabriel Linington. He's Pat Dallahan. Thank you and see you next week.